Good morning, SwitchPoint. Well, I'd like to welcome you to day number 2, our final day. We had a fabulous day yesterday. You all set the bar very high yesterday for us, but we're all excited. How many people are new, are just coming in today? Nice, nice. Well, welcome to SwitchPoint. Welcome to 7th edition. This is our 7th edition. It's incredible. And it is so exciting to see our community growing and becoming stronger. Like Pierce said yesterday, you never know who's sitting next to you. And I hope you've had a chance to make some new connection, to get some new things, new initiatives going. We are very excited, and this is why we created SwitchPoint, to take time of our busy schedule and our regular schedule and create this environment for this unusual partnership to form. So please think about that again. And if there are people you don't know, please reach out and make sure you make these connections. What I wanted to do in this short introduction this morning to get us going is to just celebrate this way of working and celebrate this idea of really thinking multisectorally, thinking out of our boxes, and really beginning the process of creating something special. I also wanted to take the time for us to celebrate, because we are so busy, and because everybody in this room is a dedicated humanitarian, we tend to focus on the problems, and we do not take time to stop and celebrate our successes. And there are successes, and I think it's important for us to just take time to see the journey we have traveled as a community trying to reduce injustice around this world. And there have been some good things. The Bill and Melinda Gates Foundations are committed to telling the stories, and I totally agree with them that this is a very motivating factor. So I wanted to just share a few of some of the successes we've made in the last 15, 20 years as a community. And we should all be proud, and we should all be basking a little bit at least in the glory. So look at some of these statistics. The proportion of our global population living in extreme poverty has halved in the last 20 years. This is not small. We've cut extreme poverty in half, thanks to the effort, to the commitment, and to the precious work you do every day. There are 21 million people who are using life-saving antiviral therapy today. Who would have thought when the epidemic started? We did not know. We worried so much, but 21 million people today are living with HIV/AIDS and are being treated just like many other non-communicable diseases. It's quite an accomplishment. We should be proud of it. 100+ million women, more women, are using modern contraception in 69 poorest countries in the period of 2003 and 2016. This means we are inching toward this goal of finally empowering women so they can at least control their own lives. This is a major accomplishment. It's progress. I don't know about you, but it motivates me. It wants me to continue what I'm doing. But I wanted to pause a little bit and talk about this. Why do I want to talk about fear? And because there are forces, unfortunately, that could be in the way of our continued progress. The momentum that we're enjoying today can be stopped or slowed down if we don't deal with this issue today. I thought it would be important to bring this, not to be political, but to think about those who should be in the room with us and who are not. Those who don't have the same beliefs that we do in making progress or caring for those that need the care. I don't think these people are just naysayers. I want to follow Andrew Zolli, and I want to talk a little bit about Andrew Zolli, actually, because Andrew Zolli wrote the foreword for a new book that's actually up there. We have a few copies up there. I don't want to make some publicity, but I think it's important. We have Diana Hayden-Shanker in the room, who is the editor of a new book called The New Global Agenda. And we had the privilege to write the chapter on health. Thank you for giving us that opportunity. But Andrew Zolli says there cannot be a new agenda unless we find a way to transcend or to help people transcend fear. Why do you think people would resist the idea of spending resources to give access to health to people that need it the most? And I think that is true. Unless we find a way to reach out to people and help them alleviate this fear, we could be in trouble. And it doesn't have to be that way. The compassion that we have, that drawn us to this work, we could use that to also combat some of these negative forces, which translate today in ultranationalism, people retrenching, and basically taking an attitude of saying no, or being fear. How can you engage in the way we're trying to do it here if you have issues around fear? If you still have fear of the other, or if you have fear of any sorts of fear. This is why I wanted to invite you, as you do this work, rather than being discouraged or being defensive, is to go a little higher and understand that it's probably part of human nature. Fear is the same reason why we don't understand some of these, what sometimes we call them social determinant for health, or we call them cultural barriers. At the root of it is basically when people are not sure, they retrench. So I think in order for us who believe that there should be a new agenda that reflects the way the world is moving, that reflects the spirit of working together, we don't want to be stopped. So I invite you to be thinking about that. So there should not be fear, and we should work, we should add to our agenda, we should make a commitment to help at least alleviate fear. There's also, I cannot have a conversation here without focusing on the shortage of healthcare workers. We are continuing to do this work in the background. We have a shortage of 18 million health workers. We thought that the shortage was about 7 million. In fact, it seems to be worsening when we factor in the SDGs. So that is an issue we need to deal with. But like this quote from Bill and Melinda Gates, I believe that the future will surprise the pessimists. And I think that drives me, and I believe that's what drives you too. So as you start today, remember these principles. Reach out to somebody that you don't know. Begin a conversation. Make sure that the conversation has some next steps. Big or small, it doesn't matter. And have a great day. And thank you again for following this. And thank you for sharing this spirit of working. Have a good one.